So there are three major contributing factors for our self-sabotage. One, our belief system, which we learn right from birth. Two is the needs that we are trying to get met and how we go about meeting them. And three is our energy vibration and how when we try to adjust or shift that energy vibration, it feels very unnatural and uncomfortable, which allows us to slide back into our comfort zone. So let's talk about each of these individually, shall we? If you grew up hearing all of the adults around you speaking about somebody who has money as being filthy, stinking rich, you're going to carry that negative connotation towards money around with you. And subconsciously, each time you have money, you're going to want to get rid of the filth. Right? You can see this happening today in your life, perhaps, if you're a very hard worker, but you only have enough money just to make ends meet. You never seem to have more than enough. Now, the same is true for our belief systems, what we believe about ourselves. If you believe that you are not worth it, whatever it is, then you won't have it. And if you do get it, you won't keep it. So this is because, again, subconsciously, when we have something, no matter how hard we've worked for that, if we don't believe at the core that we deserve it, we will sabotage ourselves so that we won't have it. Deep stuff, I know. Next, we come to meeting our needs. We all have basic needs to be met. Things like we want to be loved, respected, valued, accepted, just as a starter. Much like our belief systems, we learned how to meet these needs from a very young age. We've also, more importantly, learned how to adjust our strategy to meet our needs based on societal norms. So what I mean by that is that when we're a toddler, it's perfectly acceptable for us to throw a temper tantrum when we're not getting our needs met. However, by the time we're a teenager, we've figured out that society is really not going to look pleasantly upon us if we are throwing a full-blown temper tantrum. And so we adjust. And perhaps instead of throwing that temper tantrum, we start using hurtful language, right? Some hurtful words to try to get our needs met. And then by the time we grow up some more and we're in our 20s, perhaps we end up realizing that using that hurtful language is also frowned upon in society. So instead, we simply turn that into a frown ourselves. We put a pouty face on to get our needs met. Now, that doesn't mean that our methods or our needs themselves are actually fulfilling our highest good. I'll give you an example here. Say you are unhappy in your job, but you are insisting on staying in your job because of a fear of failure. So what this is going to look like is that you're not going to apply for that promotion. You're not even going to look for, or if you do, you will not act on a job at another company because you are meeting your need of being safe and secure. You know that you're good at your job. You even get accolades from others about how good you are at your job. So why rock the boat, right? It's not worth it to you because of fear to go outside your comfort zone and look for a different job for risk that you might not be the best at that job. So this is a great example for how your fear of success or fear of failure is actually holding yourself back, meaning that it is not for your highest good. That brings us to our energy vibration. Now, when you recognize that you need to make a change in your life, we typically make a game plan and then we implement the plan. And it doesn't take us very long to wake up one morning and realize that we actually stopped implementing the plan several days ago. We've just forgotten about it. This is because we vibrate with a certain amount of energy. And when we try to make changes in our lives, we're shifting that energy and it feels very unnatural and uncomfortable. And so it's very easy to slide back into what is natural and comfortable feeling. Unfortunately, that comfort zone is that place where you don't believe that you are worth any better. It's the place where fear of failure is ruling your life. So let's take the clasping your hands example here. If you clasp your hands like I am doing here, you didn't have to think about it. It didn't take any effort whatsoever. You just did what came natural to you. Now, if I ask you to unclasp and just shift one hand slightly forward and reclasp your hands, you will see that every fiber of your being is shouting out, oh no, this is unnatural. This is not comfortable. Let's go back to the old way. Right? This is the perfect analogy for your energy vibration and making those changes being uncomfortable. There's nothing wrong with this. Somebody walking by you, in fact, and looking over would not even notice that you had done any kind of shift, right? This is not palpable to anyone else but you. But because it is so palpable, this difference, every fiber of your being wants to go back to this. This makes it the perfect analogy for shifting your energy. Do you see now how and why it takes determined effort to actually make significant changes in your life? It also takes a true understanding of why those changes are necessary in the first place. Understanding your subconscious belief systems and the needs that you are trying to get met and how you are going about meeting them in order to understand how and why to change them. Now, my 6-week Overcoming Self-Sabotage online course delves that deep. It guides you into discovering what makes you tick so that you can change the script. And that's exactly what you can expect. Deep, meaningful change. So come and join me for the next 6 weeks where we can take your self-sabotaging ways and kick them to the curb so you can finally build the life that you deserve. I will see you there.